Hello viewers, welcome to day 2 of Excel-VBA training. My name is Sujoy. I am the creator of Zato Code and the founder of Verbian Technologies Private Limited. In this video, I will get you acquainted with the Excel-VBA editor and I will tell you about data types. So let's begin. So once you open Excel, press Alt F11 to go to the VBA editor window. The white space that you can see here is the VBA editor. So let me close the immediate window for the time being. So this entire white space is the VBA editor. And on the left hand side, you can see the Project Explorer window and the Properties window. So if you close this Project Explorer window, you can bring it from the View Project Explorer. So it gives you details about the project. So you don't have to worry about it right now. And similarly, you have this Properties window. So again, if you close this, you can bring it from the View Properties, and you need to remember the shortcut. So for bringing up the Properties window, the shortcut is F4, and for the Project Explorer, the shortcut is Control R. So as a practice, you can close this window multiple times and try to bring it from the View window. As an assignment, what you need to try is that you need to close this window multiple times and bring it from the View menu or using the shortcut. So by pressing F4, and similarly for the Project Explorer window, so you have to press Ctrl R to bring it back, close it and press Ctrl R. So practice it for few times and you will get acquainted with it. Okay, so next, for bringing the immediate window, you have to press Ctrl G. So this is the immediate window. In this window, you can test small pieces of code. So without wasting any more time, so let us start writing our first program. So you need to start by clicking on this code editor window. But before that, as a standard practice, you need to write your code on a standard module. So these are sheet modules. So this is the sheet module, this is the workbook module. So let me right click on this and let me insert a standard module. So what is module? So module is the container for your code. I'll discuss about modules in details in some later video. And as a standard practice, you need to rename it with a prefix of mod, mod, and then any name you can give it. So let me give it mod main. Let me call it mod main and let me press enter. And now come to this code editor, and now you have to write your first program. So you have to create something called a procedure. A procedure is a block of code. So how do you declare a procedure? By using the sub keyword, sub and the name of the procedure. You can give it any name. Let me say ABC. And when I press enter, see what happens. So this line gets inserted automatically. So this is a block of code. And now let me press tab and let me declare some variables. Dim I as integer. So this is the syntax for declaring a variable. And again, what is a variable? So variable is something which can hold a value and it has a specific data type. So you have to specify the kind of value that it is going to hold. So in case of integer, it can hold numbers without any decimal place. So it can hold 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20. So it has a range. So as an assignment, you need to find the range of an integer. So this is an assignment for you. So let me put dim j as, let me declare another variable, and let me declare yet another variable. Output as enter. Let me press enter. So as you press enter, you can see that the A turns capital, the D turns capital. So you don't have to worry about it. So VBA is case insensitive. Unlike other programming languages such as C#, which is case sensitive, VBA is case insensitive. So this makes programming a little bit easier. So let me write here output equals to I plus j. Let me press enter and let me write So what does debug.print do? So debug.print is a syntax to output or display the result in the immediate window. Now this program is complete. Now if I want to execute it, I can press this run button, or the shortcut is F5, or there is another way, like you can execute it step by step using F8. So before executing this, let me show you one more thing. So this is the menu bar, and this is a toolbar. You can see that this is the standard toolbar and this is the edit toolbar. And how you can bring it, so clicking on the view, if you go to toolbars, you can see that the edit and the standard toolbars are visible right now. So if I remove this, so this is the way to remove it, and this is the way, and if I check it, so it will come back. I will explain the functionalities of this in some other video. For now, let me execute this. So if I click on this play button, so this will execute and the output will be displayed here. So output is 0. That is because I did not assign any value to I and j. So let me assign a value to I, and j equals to 20. So every statement you have to write in a different line. So you cannot write here like I equals to 10, j equals to 20. So this will give you an error. So you have to write in a new line. So there is a shortcut to write in a single line using a colon, but I will not recommend it right now. So if I click on the play button right now, so it will display the output, which is 30. So let me delete this, and now let me execute it step by step using F8. So if you go to the debug menu, and if you see a step into, so this is F8. So this will execute the code line by line. So if I press F8, so see how it executes. So these 3 lines is omitted. So these 3 lines are ignored because these are declaration lines, and they are not meant to be executed. So let me press F8 and it will execute this line. Now if I take my cursor to I, so it will display I equals to 10, which means I holds the value of 10. But if I take my cursor to j, j will display 0 because this is the default value of integer, the default value, or the value which j will hold if you assign nothing to it. So that is called a default value. So if I execute this line, so this line is not yet executed, so the cursor is on this line. So if I press F8, this line will get executed. Now if I take my cursor to j, anywhere in j, so it can be here or anywhere, it will display 20 because j is now 20. Now if I take my cursor to output, it will display 0 because this is the default value. And after the execution of this line, if I press F8, now if I take my cursor to output, it will display 30. Now debug.print displays the output or displays whatever you want to display in the immediate window. So if I click F8, so it will display 30. So using debug.print, let me write another line here. If I put something in double quotes, so you can put any text in a double quote, text or number or whatever. You can put a combination of text and number. So let me click on this and drag it up. So you can simply drag the cursor up. And now if I press F8, see what happens. So it displays the output here. So debug.print is used to display whatever you want to display. Let me delete this line. Let me stop this. And let me also delete this. Now I mentioned that integer is a data type for whole numbers. So what if I try to put some decimal number here? Let's say 10.45. What happens? Let me see. If I execute this, I holds a value of 10. So it will truncate it to the nearest integer. So if I put it like, let's say 56, and if I just drag it back and press F8, now I holds 11 and the output is 31. So you cannot put a decimal point number in integer variable. So what is the alternate for that? So let me copy this and create another procedure. You cannot create 2 procedures with same name. You have to give it a different name. Let me give it ABC1, and if I change it to single, let me change it to single, and let me execute it line by line. And before that, let me place some decimal point value here. Let me re-execute it by dragging it back, and if I press F8, you can see I is 10.45 and J also holds a decimal number. And now the output is a decimal number. So this is the difference between integer and single. Similarly, there is a data type called double. Again, this is a part of your assignment. So there is single and double almost has the same meaning with just a little bit of difference. So this is a part of your assignment. Find out what does double hold. So this is the spelling of double. So this is an assignment for you. So let me stop this. Okay, now let me create another procedure and let me call it as sub ABC2 and press enter. Now let me declare something called as string a equals to. Now you can put any string value into it, and but what if I try to put a string value in an integer variable? Let me try that. Integer, and if I try to put I equals to some string variable, now let's see what happens. So you'll get an error, type mismatch. So type mismatch. So try to note this error, type mismatch, and every error has a number. So this error has a number called 13. So if I click on debug, so it will take me to the line. So it is saying type mismatch. So you cannot assign a string value to an integer variable. So let me stop this and let me delete this line. So I'll press Ctrl Y. So Ctrl Y is the shortcut to delete. Now if I press F8, see A holds this value. So again, as a practice, you can just display it in the immediate window. If I drag it back and execute it, so the value will be displayed in the immediate window. Similarly, you have few other data types such as byte. So you can write you can give it a name, B as byte. So, and again you have dim access. Let's say you have a boolean. So this is a part of your assignment. You have to find out the use of byte and what kind of value and what range of value it holds, and you have to also check the boolean variable. You have other variable types such as, I guess you have something called a currency, but you don't bother about it right now. Now let me copy this and create another procedure, and let me rename it as ABC3. So you cannot have two procedures with same name. Now if I write something dim C as string, and if I write C equals to A plus B and debug.print C. Now let me see what happens here. See what happens. These two strings are concatenated. So when you add two strings, they will simply be concatenated. So what you can add another space between this. Now if I stop this and execute it using F8, now see what happens. See, it has concatenated a space and you get this output. Now in this video, let me also show you some of the string functions. So now let me stop this and let me copy this and create another procedure. Let me put a name here. And so left is an inbuilt function. So there are a few string functions in VBA. So what does left do? So the name itself suggests that it will pick 3 characters from the left. So if I just execute it using F5, see what it prints, AMI. Similarly, you have this right. If I just execute it, what it prints, MAR. So you can understand it picks up 3 characters from the right. Similarly, you have something called mid, and so it takes a start parameter also. So if I give the start parameters as 2 and the length as 4, so what it will pick? So this is I think it will pick from I, T up till K. Let's see. Oh, it picks M, I, T. So it starts from 2. So this is by default, this is the first position. So this is the second position. So it starts from here and it picks 1, 2, 3 and a space. So if I give 5 here, and now if I execute it, so it will display this. Similarly, you have something called the lcase, and lcase, and it takes the string value. So what does lcase do? So if I press F5, so it will display it in small letter. And you must be wondering, why did it display it in this position? Why not in a new line? Because the cursor was there. So if I execute it by clicking here, if I execute it, it will display it here. So to avoid any confusion, you need to clear the immediate window and then you need to execute it. Similarly, you have ucase, and viewers, I am talking about functions, inbuilt functions. So functions are like similar to Excel functions. It will take some parameters and it will give you an output. So you have to write the name of the function and you have to type a open parenthesis, and then you have to pass the parameters. So let me execute this. By the name, you can guess that it will convert this letter to uppercase. Now you can press F2 to bring up the object browser, and you can type what you want to search here. So you can see here the lcase, you have lcase here, you have ucase. So these are the string functions. So you don't have to worry about all of this. So I have showed you the most important functions, and trust me, you will never need to know all of this. So let me close this object browser, and I'm back to the code editor window. So to summarize, you learned about variables, data types, sub procedure. So sub procedure is a block of code which will execute. So anything you write, you have to write within a sub procedure, and then you have to create a standard module. So this is the way to create a standard module. So you have to right click here and insert and click on module. So it will insert a standard module and you can write your code in a standard module. Of course, you can always write your code in a sheet module. If you double click on this, it will take you to the sheet module. But I recommend that you create your own module and write your code there. So thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel.